So our harvesting question, our feedback question that we would like you to feedback is really around what entrepreneurial characteristic or trait do we have lots of, and what do we think we are lacking? So what was a common thing that came out of that? So please copy and paste. Oh, Tolofelo, you are on the ball. Do that. Just now copy and paste what you were discussing in your breakout, and copy what is on your chat and then paste it again in the chat for everyone so that we all see what was said. Thank you, Pele. Thank you. Wonderful. And if one person wants to say something, what was the common thing? So the question is, what are these traits? Just one person. Don't tell us who's in the group. Just quickly name them, and then I'll introduce our next speaker in a minute.
I think on our group, what came on top was resilience. Most of the people, they spoke about the resilience that they have in terms of making sure that their businesses succeed, even though there are challenges, but they never give up. They want to see the business growing. Challenges or what they lacked, or most of us lack, is discipline when it comes to the finances of the business and our personal finances, where we sometimes mix our business money and our personal money. So that is also a challenge, and lack of business skills, where sometimes you don't know how to proper manage the business, and you keep on taking there, and that leads to maybe the business not to function well. So those are the things that came through. Thank you.
Thank you, Ole. Anyone else? Please, colleagues, feel free to switch on your cameras so that we can see. But sometimes you might be speaking and you are on mute. So at least I'll see the mouth moving and I can say, oh, Tsepe, you're saying something, or oh, Nomfundo, you are saying something. Unmute yourself that way. Or Ashford, do you want to say anything, or Lillian? What came out for you? Just one more. How are we doing with time? Anything else?
I see what people are typing, Tobeka. Sifiso, maybe you can also come in here, because you're going to tell us much more about traits and characteristics just now. Like financial management and so on, which is a skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. So there's a difference, I think, between Sifiso. You're going to talk about that, the difference between skills and traits.
Yes, yes, definitely. Quite an exciting. Yeah, that people are starting to say those things. Then we'll get into the discussion with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also looking at that. You know, the main thing being the difference between traits and skills. But I also want to talk about something that how we rated ourselves. You know, how do you rate yourself? Do you look at how your business is doing at the moment and then give yourself a rating? Do you look at how your business was doing in the past and give yourself a rating, you know? But that then becomes as to, because there's someone who I thought, okay, so they are looking at how the business is doing at the moment. They are looking at the break even, the business is not breaking even at the moment. So they are looking at the performance of the business and then giving themselves a rating. And I found that very, very, very interesting.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Very interesting. Remember, when we're looking at traits, yes, the performance of the business may be important, but it's more what you are, how you are. It's more what Sfiso is going to talk about. Most of you showed resilience as a top one, and that is very good. That's a good trait. Most of you say you struggle with discipline, you're struggling with communication and financial skills. That is what you are saying. And I think and those are very common things, very, very, very common. And the question becomes, how are you going to change that? You know, that question that you asked. So as we are listening, let's be aware of that.
If we can ask Cholofetso,
Cholofelo and George, you're still coming back. But let's Nomvuyo finish a line, then I'm calling them in a minute, Chris.
Yeah, I think I'm done. I'm done.
Since there's done, yeah. Cholofelo made a very good comment, I think, that if Cholofelo, if you don't mind sharing, you know, sort of those traits that you why do you think they are traits that help you as an entrepreneur? Oh, we can't hear you. There's something wrong with your sound, unfortunately.
Switch off your video and then try again.
Now we can hear you, yes.
Much better.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I was going to say in my group, first things, everybody, greetings. I was going to say the most common one in our group was willing learners to learn. So that is one trait that we realized that most of us, we do not go into business because we already have the knowledge or skill that we think we need. But as time goes, we interact with other people or other entrepreneurs who have more skill into whatever that we are pursuing. And that is one thing that helps us to grow as entrepreneurs and be able to better ourselves and our products so that they can meet the benefits of our consumers and so forth. So willingness to learn and L+EARN business program is one of the examples that shows that we are really willing to learn. We took an initiative to say we are joining this so that we can see ourselves and our businesses in a better position or to better our business progress as time goes. And another one that was very common in our group was risk taking. And we believe that in business, not everything is going to come to you easy. Even if your business was an inheritance from the past generations, either way, you still have to take risks in order to better your business as time goes. In order for you to say, I have finally overcome or reached my goals, you have to be able to take risks. In order for your business to be different from other people, not only do you have to innovate, but you must take risks. And just like the video that was shared of Walaza in the group, it shows that he did not really follow instructions. We are told that when you run, keep your head straight, keep a technique, do certain things. However, he won, though he did his own ways. So it does not necessarily mean just because there's rules set, we must always stick by the rules, because being innovative and taking risks will be the one that will push you further, that will strengthen your traits as an entrepreneur, that will give you discipline. And at the end of the day, discipline and progress is the one that makes you endure and push harder and be able to say, you know what, now I can see that my business has come from this to that, which is what we really want in order for ourselves to grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tolo. Thank you very much. George, and then after George, it seems like Musa also wants to say something in the chat. I'll come back to you, George. Anything?
Hi
again.
Okay. Hi. Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead, George, and then
Start.
Musa. Go ahead, George.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, but a lot has been covered. Just to explain further what I shared in the group, it was based on after doing my personal goals, looking at the needs and wants, and how far I am from the personal financial goals, and also the one for business goals. So I put myself a 3 because I still have a gap towards that goal of or fulfillment of financial needs. Hence, I rated myself a goal. And also looking at when I started the business and how looking at the standing of the business, I could have learned from the past mistakes that I did, and some of them I kept on repeating them because of not measuring where I was. So yes, right now I'm still filtering what I need to do in terms of moving myself from a 3 to at least a 5, 5 being a break-even point, especially on my personal financial goals and also for my business goals. So when I get to the break-even point, I think it will be a satisfying factor for me to say, yeah, I can give myself a 5 from now and put in more effort into moving to the other side.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, George. Musa, over to you as our last one, possibly.
Hi guys. Hi guys. What ended up being common, so I rated myself as a 5. Mainly because what we shared in our group was a very, very important thing. So as much as we may be disciplined in terms of running a business and everything, but however, we also have what we call black tax, where we don't come from stable backgrounds. So on a monthly basis, there are those certain expenses that normally emerge in terms of the needs of the family, especially if you have like elderly people who are more than or are normally sick more often. So you need to actually have money for them to get like medical care that is required. So you end up taking from the business to actually fund their medical conditions and also buy like necessary things like essential stuff for the ones that are not working at home. So there's a word that we normally use, which is passion, which means I'll replace it. But you end up not replacing it because of the financial discipline that we don't have. And sometimes, as much as it's not to see and not handle the situation as it is at that point in time, but you also see things for what they are at that moment and accept the situation and actually take that money and use it on this side, which actually ends up being a default on the business because it actually takes a step back. The more 5 steps you take forward, you end up taking 10 back. So which means you start from scratch and always go forward, which is quite something that we normally face as Black children or Black entrepreneurs, because we don't have that much support to actually support ourselves and actually support our families. So that's why we rated ourselves a 5, myself as a 5, mainly because my business may be a 10, but if I'm not a 10 as well because of the imbalances that I have that coming from my background and also me as an individual, it will also have an impact on my business because it won't work if ever I lack discipline and financial discipline at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you, Musa. Injalo, I think we all get that, and that's a whole other conversation around how do we relate with our finances, with our families, and developing the capacity to be able to sit down and unpack this and the reality and have a good open communication. But that's not easy. But anyway, great. Thank you so much, everyone. It seems like a lot was going on there. And I think this is my point now to hand over to Butsfiso and really unpack this amazing topic, who is our lead coach. And I've known Butsfiso for some years now, way before COVID. We met in Pretoria, by the way. Do you know that?
Yes.
Years ago at an event, and the topic is really around unleashing the great entrepreneur in me. Over to you, Tatendwat. So go again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, everyone. And exciting again to be here with all of you guys. I think listening to Tsulu, George, and Musa, I think you guys have just done my session. Thank you very much. You guys are just fantastic. It's the energy that you exude just shows how you deserve to be here and how you make us also feel that the country is in great hands in respect of the future that we're headed to. So today, as you have noticed, the session that we are doing today is focused on unleashing the great entrepreneur in me. Now, the first question that I want to ask is I'm hoping that we have to get our hands around this English. You know, what does unleashing mean? But anyway, the key objectives of what we want to achieve are listed here. We want to make sure then that we define what entrepreneurship is, and you guys are speaking to the converted. You've heard this term many times in your business careers and in your educational careers as well. So we are not talking about something totally new, but we just want to make sure that of the right understand what it is. And we need to be talking about these traits that Mam Nomvuyo talked about. What are these traits and what are success factors that drive successful entrepreneurship? It's important. Understanding, again, what the importance of management and leadership skills in our business is very important, and what kind of expertise is necessary to make our businesses successful over and above just entrepreneurship. Recognizing the value of or lack of value of failure. And we need to understand and contextualize failure in business, because every day, every minute, a business fails somewhere in this country. As much as there are many that are born, but there are many that fail. What is the value? And then obviously a bit of introspection that we have to get into, self-reflection, understanding our strengths, weaknesses, and the opportunities and threats that we face as entrepreneurs, and how do we use that as a basis to actually take us forward in our journey as entrepreneurs. Hopefully, we will also then be able to challenge you to go and develop your own action plan, having understood yourself a little bit more. How then do you develop a plan that takes you forward on your journey as an entrepreneur? So these are the key areas that we wish to cover. Now, this big word entrepreneur, obviously a lot of you will know it's originally a French word, and it's become the center really of business in all economies. But I'd like to just challenge you, quick exercise, go to the chat box. Please, can you just write a name that defines entrepreneur for you in your language in particular, or it can be style, it can be your own a term that you use in your own group. What is an entrepreneur? How do you describe an entrepreneur? Especially in our traditional languages. Please just go to the chat and write the different names or words that we use to describe an entrepreneur. Am I seeing some responses there? As we do that, we will proceed to the next slide. Now, when you look at this picture, as you do that, that is some example of what an entrepreneur could look like or could not look like, with many hands, with many things happening at the same time, many processes happening at the same time. Perhaps that is a picture of you and the many things that you have to do in your business. But often a lot of young people will say, what I like about being an entrepreneur is being my own boss, making money and driving change. And that's important, very important. But I think also it's important to understand that there are various types of entrepreneurs, and these types of entrepreneurs are driven often by different things, but it is fundamentally about driving change. It is not just I want to be my own boss as an end in itself. It is much bigger than that. It is about driving change or producing a product or service that we didn't know, that we didn't have before. The process of creating, starting, and scaling a business to generate value by meeting market needs. This is probably as comprehensive a definition as we can get to today. But as you will see, it's much more complex than this. But it's a process, first and foremost, that's entrepreneurship. And it is about, yes, organizing, because hopefully it's creating, but that creation starts with ideation. As you know, it starts with an idea, an opportunity, a gap that you see. And then you create around that idea, and you organize around that idea, and you start the process of fulfilling that need or gap that you have seen. And obviously, we don't just start businesses, and a lot of you have started businesses, but the real vision for all economies is to actually start scaling those businesses, which means growing those businesses, serving more customers, going beyond the limited geographies in which we reside, and indeed generating value and meeting market demand. So it is very important that the entrepreneurship is about meeting a market need. Are we together there? I hope we are. Let's move on to the next one. Now, yeah, you will get to have this conversation, and you have already had this conversation around which traits or characteristics do you have, and which traits and characteristics do you lack. And that conversation that you had amongst yourselves is very, very important. And these are some of the characteristics of entrepreneurs, or key elements of entrepreneurship. At the top, usually, when we talk about entrepreneurship, it is innovation. Why innovation? Because it is this element of adding value, of creating something out of something lesser or out of nothing. So innovating is creating solutions that improve or that address a particular need, or even improving on what already exists. So it's important in innovation. Risk-taking, and some of you, and there is someone who said, look, my weakness is that I am a bit, I find it difficult to take risk. And it's important to recognize that, because at the center of entrepreneurship, it is taking risk. The very act of starting a business, it is starting a risk. The very act of leaving your job, if some of you did leave your jobs and actually saying, I'm going to create my own business, it is a risk, because there is always a chance. In fact, it's over 80% of businesses that start will fail over the next 5 years. You could be the statistic. So there is always a risk. And then value creation, I've already referred to, that it is about adding value to the customers or to the society that you're addressing. And obviously, as you know, and very importantly, entrepreneurship is not just fun. It's not just for small businesses. It's not just for things that are being, conversations that are being held to make people do something so that they're busy in their communities. It is very central to the development of our economy. The very fact that we have got this country with all the infrastructure and all the services, with all the goods and services that you see everywhere you are, these were enterprising ideas. Somebody would have said, here is an opportunity. Let me start Pick n Pay. Somebody, and a South African at that, saw an opportunity in the market and went for it. And that business now is in many African countries. So it is very important for an economy. And you guys sitting here, 70, 80 of you sitting here, we would like to see some of you, hopefully all of you, actually start businesses that could build not just your local economies, but our national economy, and add value to our country. Now, of course, we won't get into the debate of what entrepreneurship is. There are many that believe that it is a science, because you can sort of pull it together and put it together. There are others who think that it's art, it's really a creative art. But I think much more important and practical for us here, as Peter Drucker said, it is a practice. Why am I saying a practice? Because, in fact, I would even go beyond a practice. It becomes a lifestyle. I'd like to think that some of you are not just part-time entrepreneurs. You wake up on a Tuesday morning, I've got to hoy this hustle. I've got to hoy, because you want the money that comes out of it. That is a side hustle. But if you are a true entrepreneur, it becomes a daily practice and it becomes a lifestyle. At 12 at night, when people are snoring and having it easy and dreaming, you are wondering and finding solutions to a problem in your business, to say, how do I get my goods to move from point A to point B? Somebody saying, how do I get that client? How do I knock in that door, and that door must open for me? So that is why it becomes, it's not just something that you do part-time. It is a lifestyle. It is in you, embedded in you. Now, the heading today says how to unleash a great entrepreneur, the great entrepreneur in me. I would like to ask the question, are there entrepreneurs in this room? Are you the great entrepreneur? Or is the great entrepreneur in you? I'd like to believe that the reason you are here, you have gone through many hoops to actually arrive here. You've had to pass many doors closed, and you had to earn being here. I believe that the original number of young entrepreneurs nationally may have exceeded 1,000 in terms of number. But here, below 100 were finally selected to be part of this program. For me, that already proves, I don't need to go anywhere else, that already proves that you are an entrepreneur. So please just pat yourself in the chest. I am an entrepreneur. Can I hear that?
Continue to share and show her business.
I am an entrepreneur.
Yes, we are. We are. So thank you very much, guys. The purpose of the exercise while you are here, sorry, there is some. All right, thank you. So the reason you are here is because you've already proved yourself through these hoops that we've gone through, is to now support you to go to the next stage. And the purpose of this topic in particular is for you to look and realize the strengths that you have, but also hopefully identify the areas that you have got work to do. Can we do the next slide, please? So we make the reference to this great entrepreneur. And if we talk about a great entrepreneur, which is you, and that great entrepreneur is sitting inside you, we want to unleash it. By unleashing, we mean we want that great entrepreneur to come out and leave. And we want that great entrepreneur to manifest. We want that great entrepreneur to show itself in the works that you will do. So this is why this program is here. So understanding what that great entrepreneur that you are incubating inside you is, and his strengths and weaknesses is very important. But we must also understand, if you are the great entrepreneur, you must be able to identify what is a bad entrepreneur and what is a poor entrepreneur, because most of us, and you've already agreed, if you use that scoring that you guys did, none of you have said, I'm a perfect entrepreneur. So a lot of us are somewhere in between. So we're on a journey. It's a journey that we're on of improving our practice and improving our practice as entrepreneurs. And part of that is understanding what is a great entrepreneur. So the visionary mindset, we talk about mindset, is very important. At some point, I'm sure Mamnom Vuyo will talk to you about mindset, because mindset is probably at the center of entrepreneurship. If anything sits at the center, it is probably mindset. Everything else probably builds itself around mindsets. So the visionary mindset is important. Resilience, you guys talked about. Adapting, South Africans are very good at this, is very important. COVID was a good example of how resilient South African entrepreneurs were. And many new businesses actually born during COVID. Of course, as we know, many actually perished during that period. Strong decision making, and some of you did say that they take long to plan, they take long to make decisions. That's important. Passion and motivation is a necessary part of a great entrepreneur, because if you don't have the passion and you're not motivated, you are weak and tired every day, and you are always thinking negative things, and you don't exude that passion even
All right, let's try that again. But Sviso, I think you can switch, just switch on
I lost
again.
you for a minute.
Yes, you did.
Sorry.
And at some point, we might just switch off your video, but don't worry if it happens. Okay,
Okay,
you just
that's
over to you,
super.
Jyoti.
Thank you very much. So yes, so I was on this point of communication, and it's not about English, brothers and sisters, but it is about English, because if English is the medium of communication, as you communicate, and communication, by the way, is not just writing, it is many things. It is communicating in the various platforms that we communicate ourselves and our businesses and our products in, but it's also in the way that we present ourselves, because communication is not just verbal, it's also non-verbal. It's how you present yourself and how you are perceived by the market. So there are many aspects. We're not talking about that now, but I think I just want you to know that communication is broader than just what you say. Now, that's important. You may have the best product, but if properly, it's not properly packaged and properly communicated, you may not find a place in the market. And obviously, as a bad entrepreneur, you can just switch this around without good communication. You're a bad entrepreneur. With weak leadership, if you can't adapt, if you can't manage resources, if you're always afraid and fear failure, and if all you think about is just today and not able to think a year or two down the line in terms of your business, then obviously your business is not going to be successful. So we can't characterize you as a great entrepreneur. Let's move on, please. Next slide. So a lot of you have already said this, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time in this, but I think it's important to understand the success factors that are associated with each of the characteristics or traits that we've talked about. Vision at the center of it, at the top of it, is quite important. That you have a vision, to have a clear picture of where you see your business in the short to medium term, and what kind of goals have you set yourself. Some of you refer to goals. Resilience, it's important. Innovation is important. That innovation is not a once-off. It's always, and all aspects of your business need innovation. It's just not say, I've innovated the product. You have to innovate marketing. You have to innovate even how you recruit and retain staff. So innovation is just the nature of business. So it's not just in the production or the factory floor only. It's also in the way that you think and present your business. Leadership is important, and that means then that we've got to learn a lot. Financial acumen, a lot of you talked about financial management as a big challenge amongst our entrepreneurs, and I agree with you entirely. It is a problem both in terms of how we manage our money, the skills that we have, but also in terms of the burden, the family and societal burdens perhaps that we have. Networking is important. If you get into a room and you can't articulate who you are, you can't connect, you can't see someone that you could eventually work with, and you don't see opportunities in working and talking to other people, you lose opportunities. So you can't then be successful in the long term. Customer focus is quite important. You just don't produce the product because you love it. I love this product. I'm a great cover or whatever trade I'm in, but it must be, I am able to produce something that fits in, that addresses a need. Thank you. Next slide, please. Let's now do a bit of activity. Go back to the chat box. And I think all of us have clients, have people in our communities that we regard as good example or exemplary entrepreneur, and we look up to them. Some of them may be in our communities, some of them may be national figures that we know have done very well. And maybe can you identify then among these trades, which of these trades apply to those entrepreneurs that you look up to? Can you go to the chat, please, and just for a minute, type in which of those trades among some of your some of the entrepreneurs that you look up to, successful entrepreneurs, great entrepreneurs that have been unleashed already, that are already out there and doing great things. Which of these traits do you think apply to them? I can see networking, I can see innovation, risk taking. Perhaps you can put the name of the entrepreneur that you're thinking about at this point. It would be useful to just say, this is the one, Vusi Tembegwa, resilient. What an excellent communicator. Don't you agree? He is such an excellent communicator. Portia M, yes, some of you use those products, right? Quite spirit, but possesses power and shows the business dealings. Steve Jobs, innovator, yes. Thank you, risk-taking. So thank you very much. So I think it's very important that as we see and look around and see entrepreneurs that inspire us, Elon Musk, yes, has some South African connection, very successful entrepreneur, visionary, resilience. So thank you very much. So I think to close off this point, I just want to say that it's very important that we look up to, we find people that we want to emulate in our communities, and we find people that we look up to, and we identify the things that we like. It must not be just their money, because often we say, the guy is rich, in a new layout. But I think it should be beyond that. How did he make that new? And how do we learn? What can we learn from him? That's important. But again, in the midst of this conversation, we're not talking about entrepreneurship. There is failure. There is success. Now, it's important to balance these two. We must know that if you are successful, some of you rated yourselves 8 and 9 because you're successful. Success is not guaranteed that it's going to be there until tomorrow. Tomorrow you might wake up and find that actually it's failure. The business is gone. So success is not final. But actually, I love the second one even more, that even if your business fails today, it should not kill you, because you can never kill an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur always rises. So failure is not fatal. The courage of an entrepreneur, the brevity of an entrepreneur is what counts, because you are resilient. So you will wake up and move on. This is, I don't know if some of you are old enough to or have read anything about Winston Churchill, but yes, that is his quotation there. Next slide, please. Sorry, I can't see the next slide.
Let's see.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Yes, we got it. Thank you. So, guys, I want us to just quickly touch on this very important. Sometimes we get carried away by this entrepreneurship lingo, and that I'm an entrepreneur, and we see people making money, and we say the entrepreneurs, they're great entrepreneurs, and often it becomes umlilo wamaphepha, if you know what I mean. There's a success for a couple of months, and then it's gone the next, and it's gone for good. What really sustains and supports a successful business is not just the entrepreneurial characteristics, but it's also the management and leadership skills that are brought into that business. For example, you will find then that as you remember the earlier picture that I showed, where the entrepreneur has about 16 hands, they're all doing different things. That's what an entrepreneur is supposed to do. Is that when you start off, you have to do so many things and you're only one. So what that assumes is that you've got all these multiple skills to actually get you can plan, you can account for your money, you can talk to people, you can lead people, you can talk to customers, you can produce the product, you can get to market, you can sweep the floor, you can do all these things that make this business work, right? But there is a place and time when you need to recognize this is why we're doing this. What are the skills that you need to bring around you that to complement the skills that you may have or may not have? Management skills. Now, a business needs to be managed. However passionate and you are and charismatic and how passionate about and however great the product that was produced, without these set of management skills, that business is zero. You need to be able to plan, which means you need to set objectives, you need to manage a production process, you need to organize people, you need to organize resources, you need to control processes, you need to manage money, and all these things are important. These are management skills that have to be done. And on the leadership side, you need to inspire your team. You need to also think broadly and be strategic about the future of the business and how things come together. But also, more importantly, in business as in life, there's always problems. You need to be able to problem solve, and you need to manage conflict as well, because there's always problems. And you need to also build, if you're building an organization, a culture of performance, a culture where the team feel together and they buy into the vision that you set. So you must then realize that management skills and leadership skills are very necessary for successful businesses. All the successful businesses that you see have elements of this, and they've put elements to make sure that this happens. The challenge with a small business is that often these skills are lacking. You only perhaps have one or two of these elements. The question is, how do you do this? How do you make sure that you build these skills over time? And that is the challenge that you need to work on. So it becomes then important to know yourself. You must then know your strengths and your weaknesses. You must also know the opportunities that are lying out there that you can leverage. And some of those opportunities, by the way, you don't have to know it all, and you don't have to have it all. But you do need, as the leader, to know how to connect the dots and leverage opportunities. Because, for example, you may not be a financial guru. You may not be able to do the debits and credits of your business. But there are basic things that you must know as the leader of a business. But you could actually get someone else to make sure that every month you've got management accounts that tell you where the business is and where the business is going to. So it's important that you must know yourself and be able to use that as a strength going forward. Now, we talked about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We are going to be invited to actually have this exercise. As you will see later, actually, it's part of your assignment, the next assignment, where you are invited to visit yourself and go beyond just what you think, but actually how you feel, so that you understand what are your strengths in this journey of entrepreneurship, what are your weaknesses in this journey of entrepreneurship, but also when you look in the external environment, what do you consider to be the factors that and the opportunities that you need to take advantage of, and the threats and the risks that you need to manage. And this is very important, because if you did this and you knew what your SWOT analysis looked like, then you are able to set your own growth goals to say, this is how I can then move myself and my business into the future. Next slide, please. This is the exercise. So you'll get more details in it, but you will see it's basically knowledge of your own personality, particularly relating to entrepreneurship, and then understanding the traits that you have and the traits that you may not have, because once you have this picture, then you can have an action plan later to say, how do I develop and strengthen the areas where I'm weak. And this is the exercise the assignment that you'll be do. But it's going to be easy because I think you now probably have the big picture, but you need to go deeper inside you to reach out and actually be honest with yourself. Because if you're not honest, if you're just talking on the surface, you might miss very important elements of this exercise, and therefore miss the opportunity to grow. Because this session is about how then do you develop a plan to deal with those issues. An old guy, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Now, I think all development, all successes that we've seen of many individuals and many communities mainly, germinate from self-knowledge, and so self-knowledge is important. I would invite you that one of the things that as you journey in this life, just try to get to understand who's this person that I'm growing and who is this person that I'm trying to actualize. So it's very important to know yourself, and because when you do, then you know your strengths, then you know your weaknesses, then you know what you can engage in, and you might even know the type of businesses and the type of people that you can work with or cannot work with. So that's very important.
I love that. That's such an important question. And I'm just going to give you guys just 10 seconds. We're just going to be silent for 10 seconds and let what was just shared land. Reflect on that. Because the business, what you're creating is you. You are creating it. And this journey is a continuous journey. Any thoughts, Sis Nomvuyo, that came out? I have a quote that I really want to share, and I'm just going to put it in the chat. I'm sorry, but just Fiso. You have said such insightful things, and some of you already know this quote, but it's one of those that is so important. But anyway, any thoughts, Sis Nomvuyo, before we go on with?
Is Amukelani here?
Yes, she is.
Okay, all right. Just before we call on her, I just want, there were only 9 people who responded on the chat that they are entrepreneurs. Can I just do a 1 minute, please? Please?
Go ahead. 45 seconds.
So here is my request to everyone here. I'd like you to touch yourself here and say, I am.
Heart, by the way, hold your hand over your heart. That's what you mean.
On your heart, and say, I am a great entrepreneur. I am a great entrepreneur.
So let's unmute. Say it out loud. Unmute.
And say, don't say we are, don't say they are, say, I am a great entrepreneur. And say it, I am a great entrepreneur. 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 Say it until you feel it in your spirit. I am a great entrepreneur. I am a great entrepreneur.
I am a great entrepreneur.
A great entrepreneur.
Oh, love.
I am a great entrepreneur. Very great entrepreneur.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, you are a great entrepreneur. If you are not sure yet, if you gave yourself a score of 3, please say it every day. I am a great entrepreneur. Say it until you believe it, okay? All right, guys, I want to introduce Amukelani. She is an entrepreneur who was on the DGB's program. She has a company called Mookie's Munchies. She is based in Kagiso, in the township of Kagiso. And she is a young, upcoming entrepreneur who has the growth mindset that we feel that we would like her to share with you. Amukelani, over to you, Sissy. Please tell us about yourself, your business, and what makes you think you are a great entrepreneur.
Hello everyone. I'm nervous, but hello everyone. My name is Amukelani Balori, also known as Chef Mookie. I'm a chef by profession, and I'm also the founder of Mookie's Munchies. Mookie's Munchies is a local hamburger joint founded in the township of Kagiso in 2018. We make everyday fresh burgers with 100% beef patty and our sauces as our signature product. So we start our patties from scratch, from the grinding of the meat to the molding and everything. The inspiration behind Mookie's Munchies is my love for cooking, and my mom also influenced the whole idea. She used to push me so much to cook, and I fell in love with it. Oh, okay. Not sure what's happening, but I'll try. Okay. As I was saying, my mom influenced my whole passion for cooking. Okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to fix.
We can hear you, Amo.
Yeah, switch your video off, Amu, and then please try again. But we had where up until you said your mom influenced your passion for cooking.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, keep going. You just keep speaking, Amu.
Okay. Okay. So I went to school, and I went and enhanced my love for cooking, and I did my international diploma in culinary arts under City and Guilds for 4 years. So any type of cuisine that you would want me to cater for you, I can do it. I can try. I can do it. So going to school also influenced it, and then during my school time, I fell in love with cheeseburgers. I am a burger addict. I fell in love with cheeseburgers, and then I started doing a whole lot of research and finding out what is a good burger, what makes a good burger, a great burger. So I started doing my meat research, how much of fat is supposed to go into patties, meat, and all that. And then I started creating the whole patty. 2018, after school, I decided not to go look for a job, and I started Mookie's Munchies. It was influenced also by family. My friends also were pushing me to start this. And then I started 2018 in December. I started Mookie's Munchies. I didn't start all big, I started very, very small, saved up a few cents. 700 was my budget when I started Mookie's Munchies. And then I started using my mom's pots, my mom's pans, trying to get Mookies known, because cheeseburgers are a common, a common meal, things that it's food that people are used to. So I needed to find a way to bring difference, make Mookies Munchies cheeseburgers different. So the herbs and spices and all the blends that we have on the patty makes us stand out. So I started that in 2018, started selling in front of my yard. It was not easy also because I didn't have shelter, no equipment. When the weather is bad, I had to stop. It was those challenges that I had to face. And accumulated a bit of cost equipment from there. And I came across a post was called in the box. It was a project that wants to pursue their dream. And then I entered into it, and it was a whole 1-year program that we.
Hi, Amu. Sorry for interrupting you. A quick
Okay.
thing. I'm going to ask you a question.
right.
And also your connection's bad a little bit. So it's just to kind of make sure we get the important things, the important answers.
Okay.
So
right.
really, my question to you around this is, what were the traits that you had, and what did you have to develop to help you with this, to get you to where you are right now?
I would say I'm a go-getter. So for me to quit going to work 9 to 5 work and decide this has to be a make or break for me. So I'm a go-getter. I went for it and I started. I didn't look back, no matter the challenges. And during my journey, I had to learn that I need to adapt to change, because COVID really played a big part on that one, and my business was still small and I was still learning. I needed to adapt that I need to have a delivery service as small as I was. So I had to change, adapt to change. Even now, food trends change every time. So
Gotcha.
I'm always on my toes, reading, trying to find information about new things, new stuff that customers would be interested in. So I'm very I always find information. Yeah, I try to find as much information as I can. That's also how I found this program, the DigiBiz program, because I was on the net every time going through. So yeah, I adapt to change. The journey taught me to adapt to change, and I'm a go-getter. I'm very persistent with what I do.
Right. And you're out there looking for opportunities and networking as well, because you are online. Yeah?
Most definitely.
and adaptable because of COVID.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So, okay. And interesting. Innovator, do you think, is one of them? Because
yes, I'm innovative. I came up with my own patties and sauces that you'll never find anywhere else. So yes, I would love to think that I'm very innovative.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I just thought I would share that. Any other questions? A specific question we help to unpack and learn more around Amu's work. And it's amazing that you're able to do that. And I think please put in the chat, Amu, your website where we can get hold of you. So people lapha West Rand can contact you. Laba bahlala lapha eSoweto. Yabona nje, you just go through the bag. So lapha eKagiso ebag yangena. Over there. We say, hey, you know mos where you live. North Riding, Shonakon.
Yes,
Thank you. No, thank you, Amu. I'm sorry
for a question for Amu.
And then you'll continue after that, Butsfiso. Okay, over to you. Go ahead, Butsfiso, with your question.
Yes, Amu, thank you very much. And I like, quick question, Amu. What were the traits that you found along the way that you were weak on, and things that you struggle with? But that's number one. Number two, how do you deal with those? Because not all of us are perfect. Not all of us fit the whole criteria. So just share with us perhaps traits that you struggle with and how you deal with those?
I would say for me, I had a time management weakness. I would want to do a lot of things all at the same time, and prioritizing also was one of my weaknesses. It's one of the things that I also had to learn through this journey. So I didn't prioritize. I would do everything, try to do everything all at once. And also I had trust issues. My traits were trust issues. Weaknesses, I would say it was a weakness also, because allowing someone to work in my company without my presence, I was very doubtful of would they produce the same product as I would. So you need to trust in the business world. You need to trust your employees, people that work with you, and let them, allow them to be open. Your employees can actually help you a lot when it comes to brainstorming and growing the business itself, because there's other stuff that they see that you can't see. So I allowed people in my space, in the Mookies Munchies space, to grow it. And yeah, I would say prioritizing and time management was my weaknesses. So I had to really start noting things down, having a diary, a journal, time schedule, finding apps that are going to make things easy for me to post. Thank you to DJ Biz, it introduced me to Zoho app that I still use till to this day to manage my socials. So my time now is much better. I've got enough time for production, and I trust my team to help me and to also deal with issues in the business when I'm not there. So yeah.
Wow, exciting. Quick final question, Amu. Finances. Finances are the biggest problems for many businesses, including these that are here. What has been your journey around managing finances for both yourself and the business? And where are you still struggling, and where have you made some progress?
I would say bookkeeping was one of my struggles. I had to find a student. Bookkeeping was hard. Stock and I don't know anything. I don't know much about financials, even business itself. I don't know much. I'm still learning, like everyone who's here. I'm learning till to this day. So bookkeeping was a challenge for me, and thank goodness that I had to find someone who was good with that. So bookkeeping, there's a student that I've been using now. There was a project that I also had to sign up for that I found on the net. It was interns that help in businesses, whether in the kitchen, financial. So I applied for financial because I knew nothing about it. So I've got someone that is helping with bookkeeping. They're helping me. They're showing me what is what and how to do it. So financials, it's the hardest thing you can deal with when it comes to business, because they're the make or break of the business.
But what's your personal relationship with money?
I love money.
Is it good?
I love money. I love money.
Are you an abuser of your business money or not?
No, never. My business is still growing. And I think it's one of the things that everyone needs to have discipline on. I'm not perfect. I also had my chances of using the financials from my business for personal use, like other stuff. But you get to learn as time goes, because you see the effects of spending your business financials and spending your funds. So you must pay yourself, even if when the business is not doing well, because I remember my business was not doing well for the past 2 months. I even had to close for 3 weeks because I wasn't seeing any sales. There was no money, and it also showed me that the business can actually close if you don't have discipline when it comes to the finances. So yeah. I do not use my business financials. I'm still trying to grow Mookies Munchies as much as I can.
Thank you.
Amazing. Love it. I mean, one question, and then I have to give it to you, Putsfiso, because this is amazing. I just want, you said something very important around trust. For you to finally get the final people you're using right now, are these the same people you employed at the very beginning?
No, I changed like 3 times, if not twice. So it's hard getting the right people for the job, or loyal people. They always change. So I'm still there. I'm still trying to find the right stuff that is going to stick with me, because they quit. Some, they don't even give you the reason why they don't come to work. So yeah, trusting is it's hard. It's that risk that every entrepreneur has to take, I guess.
Right. Thank you. We could go on, but over to you, Putsfiso, a little bit now. Thank you so much, Amu, for coming and sharing your experience and your insight. I'm sure you could, if time was on our side, so much more can happen. So please, again, let's send us some love and encouragement and gratitude for all the hard work. And let's go get those cheeseburgers. Amu's cheeseburgers. Rashida would love. Great, thank you. Over to you, Putsfiso. A little bit more, take us off to the next part of your presentation, more or less talking about the failures and yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Amu. I think you are fantastic. You're fantastic. And thank you for sharing, because this journey of entrepreneurship, it is about learning from other people. And thank you for your spirit, your generous spirit, to really be vulnerable in a group of other young people who come from all corners of this country. And that is, for me, a spirit of giving. So thank you very much. We wish you wind to your wings and success in your business. Thank you. So yes, Amos just talked about the issue of failure, and we need to just touch quickly on the value of failure. That failure is a reality, and it happens many times in one business, and it happens many times in one's life. And we've seen it. We've seen many businesses fail, maybe in our families, maybe in our communities, but also I've seen big businesses fail. So, but there is value in failure, and I think that is important. That it's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to change things. It's an opportunity to pivot and to see perhaps an opportunity adjacent to the opportunity that you're pursuing. So failure, we must always take it in context. It is hurting, it is difficult, ibuhlungu, ilukuni, and it's painful. But it is important, after feeling that pain, we then say, what is the gift that failure brings? And what are the lessons that we can learn? And that is important. Next one, please. And therefore, like I said at the beginning, we are on a journey of developing our entrepreneurship skills. No one has it all together. All of us are on this journey, and we are fixing as we go along. So it's important that we understand who we are, and we learn, and we talk to other people. You are extremely lucky to be part of this program, because this program is bringing other resources like coaches. There are coaches amongst you who are going to be coaching you on this journey. So it's part of building these skills. And it's important that you are open and vulnerable with them so that they can share and help you in the process. So an invitation that I'm casting wide to all of us is that please, so please continue this process that we've started today of introspecting. First and foremost, it's important that in your action plan, you examine your vision statement, your goals, and once you have a clear vision statement and goals, and by the way, doing it by yourself is good, but it's not good enough. What is important is that you get someone else to give you feedback. You do your action plan, and then once you have the action plan, you then have an accountability partner that then helps you. It can be a colleague, it can be a mentor, it can be a coach. And in this case, for the next couple of months, you'll have access to a coach. So that one becomes your accountability partner that helps you and asks you the difficult questions that sometimes perhaps are in your blind spots. So that's very important. The responsibility starts with you because it is your journey. Thank you very much. I'd like to, again, please remind yourself that you are the great entrepreneur. And even when you're on your own, without the insistence of Mam Nomvuyo, you must just, in your own, wake up in the morning and have this mantra that says, I am a great entrepreneur. And that conviction, that will change your mindset, and you'll begin to see positive results in the great work that you do. Congratulations for the many millions you're going to make going forward. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Butsviso. That was so insightful. We're doing a lot of thumbs up, claps, and reactions on that. And any questions? I see someone sent to me directly by mistake, but I think it was meant for the whole group. Ngosnati, word of the day, find value in failure. Yes, always fail forward. Don't fail backwards. The best failure is the one that goes forward. I've had 2 businesses before that have failed. I love it, but I've learned from it. And we're going to talk about the assignments now. So remember, I don't know if Rashida, you want to come in on this possibly to share around the assignment, and then you take over from, and then you continue with the upcoming if you work. Okay, over to you. Thank you, Rashida.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And thank you, Sifiso, for a really cool refresher session. You know, these sessions is what fuel us, because it brings out emotion, and then we must channel that emotion. And so I think that's my thing, is like, yes, fail and everything that goes with it, but channel it into something for your benefit, or for your business benefit for that matter. So thank you for that and all the lessons. Okay, so on assignments, you've got 2 things that you'd have to do. Preferably, we would like, if you, in fact, Mvuyo asked that you please complete your assignment before you meet with your coach. So the assignment will be knowledge of your own personality. It's like a little mini personality test. There's yes, no questions. And please, you know, really reflect on what you've learned today and apply yourself to that. And then you'll also do a personality SWOT. So it's not a business SWOT, it's a personality SWOT. Basically, what is my strengths? What is my weakness? What is opportunities out there for me? What are the threats out there affecting my ability to do, right? So please, that would be the second part of your assignment. Both of these you would then take with you to your coaching session. And I'll touch on coaching in just a minute in the next slide. But ideally, it's going to be a nice way for your coach to know you almost instantly, so you can actually get that out of the way and spend more time, because remember, you only have 4 sessions with your coach, to spend more time really working on that accountability and also on your goals that you would now set for the rest of the program. And I think that is going to be very crucial in terms of this program. So please do finish this before your coaching session. Yes, so next up, just to remind you of what's coming up next. So you've now officially completed 2 workshops. Well done. And then, of course, you'll complete your assignment by Tuesday, no later. And now, something very exciting, I'm very fortunate to be able to bring this news to you, is that your coaching sessions will start. Tomorrow is kicking off our first coaching week. So the first coaching week is running between the 5th and the 13th of September. Those of you who had site visits, you will go with the same coaches. So some of your coaches may start reaching out to you. But if not, they will be allocated to you today. Sorry, it's a bit noisy where I'm at. They will be allocated to you today. By this evening, I will be sending out emails, and you'll receive an email that introduces you to your coach. You'll get a small little bit of a bio, a picture, so you know who they are. The first session will be in person, because we really want you to build a good, strong relationship with your coach. You know, sometimes when we do virtual, we think or look at each other or experience each other as robots rather than as human beings. And that's why this is so important for us, for you to meet your coach in person. And really, I must thank the coaching team. It's been hard work making sure we find coaches all over the country, but we did it. You know, so we're very excited about the sessions that's going to take place.
And then, of course, the 3 other sessions will all be online. So we've got these cycles, as you know, after every 2 workshops, you then have your coaching week. So, yeah, then and there'll be a series of 4 of them that will happen. And of course, you and your coach will, sorry, what's the word I'm looking for? Schedule times most suitable for both of you. So that will happen once I've introduced you to your coach, and then you'll communicate directly to align your schedule. Please, please, please. And this is something we always stress, and I don't think you can ever stress it enough. But again, in the session, that hour you have with your coach, make the most of it. Try to be on time, be prepared, come with your assignment, give your coaches, or beforehand, give your coach as much as you possibly can to really let them be able to sit with you and start working on your goals and your plans. Let it not be a session where your coach has to drag things out of you, because ultimately we have a very short time together, and we want to make sure that you feel the impact and also see the impact, of course. Okay, then again, a reminder on your quick links. Say this really quickly. Someone can pop it in the chat as well. These are your go-to links for all things. One thing that is important for coaching, it's a very short form you must complete during your coaching session. And it's really just a way for us to keep track that the session is happening and that your coach is not saying, no, I did go and visit Lunga, but actually he didn't. And it's, you know, that type of thing. So it's really part of making sure that, you know, you are getting what is laid out for you in the plan. And it's a very quick form. It's 1 minute. Your coach will also remind you, but please try to be take the initiative to make sure that you also are ready with your link to your tracker, so that in the session, quickly, 1 minute, your name, your coach's name, the time of the session, etc., and basically you're done. And that's very important to ensure that we know that the session has happened. Yeah, some other links you're already familiar with, so I won't touch too much on that, but I think it's now time for Q&A. And thank you so much again for the honor to just be here with you all and learn with you all. But back to you now, Nomvuyo.
Thank you. Thank you, Rashida. Yes, Sis Nomvuyo, Q&A you will put in the chat, and then Sis Nomvuyo will just do a quick wrap up on the subject content, and after that we're going to do the quiz in a minute and a half. Over to you, Sis Nomvuyo.
Yeah, okay. Let us do let us get some comments, some feedback from the chat. Any questions? What questions do you have today? I must say I have learned. You know, you never stop learning. You never stop learning. And I don't care how much you know a topic, but it will still come in a different way when it's presented by someone different, and you'll still have nuggets to learn, to take. So, what are your questions? And are we seeing any questions on the chat? I am not seeing any questions yet. Questions? Amukelani, thank you for inspiring us that you can start with about 700 Rand and still create a great business. Ubongosi started, I think he started with 480 Rands, and he is creating a great business. So we have to be aware of those things, that you can start small. Have a big vision, but start small. Have a big vision of the business, but more than anything, of yourself. Who will you be when you are running that great business? Have that vision of yourself. Who will you be when you are running that great business? Who Who is this great entrepreneur that you are becoming? Who is that? Have a clear vision of yourself being the leader that you want to be, of yourself, leading your business with excellence and skill. Be yourself with leading communication in your business, leading communication with your customers. You have to have that vision. It must be alive, that vision. Keep it alive. But you are starting small. Be aware you are starting small and you are slogging to get the results that you want.
Yep.
But the vision must be clear. The vision must be clear, and it must be big, and it must be compelling. That's the word. It must be compelling. Are you seeing any questions, Sissy?
No questions yet, really. I think we can go on. You kind of remind me, me and metaphors, for sure. We all were babies, and we were all crawling. And the big vision was to do what? To run like our elders, our big brothers, or our parents. It was a big vision. But for you to do that, you fell a lot of times. You got hurt. You had people around you to help you along the way. And that's what you need to do. From day one, we have these metaphors that are here to help us in whatever journey we are taking. And without any further ado, I think we've also shared the link in the chat for the quiz. So let's get started. I'm going to we're going to have some silence. Please click on that link and start filling in. Let me know if you're in. If your video is on, just do a thumbs up to say I'm in. I'm doing it now. Okay, thank you, Moti. You've been smiling. You are a ray of sunshine. Thanks, Levy. Thanks, George. Keep going. So I'm just going to be talking perfect. Keep starting. I'm going to be talking for the next 2-3 minutes while you are doing your quiz. Actually, maybe I'll put in a little background. I can't just use any music from Spotify. Thank you. You can see your share screen notes. Keep doing it. Don't leave. We're not saying leave. Fill in the form. We have one more question. If you leave, you're missing out. The quiz is there. Keep going through the quiz for a moment. Are you doing it? Are you filling it in? Okay, sharp. Bye. Sepo. Letty, are you filling it in? Sharp. Sepo. Pule. Are you there? Itu. Pumeleng. Adorable. Done. We've already got someone who's done. Adorable. Oh, now we're qualified. So katile. Yabona. Ama-e-bugs. Yes, alama-bugs. Ay ngama-e-bugs. What is it?
E-bugs.
It says no book.
E-bugs.
It's the bugs. Ngoma-e-bees. Yeah, sure. Sika put it down. I guess no, this is no up to you. Anything you want?
I'm just answering Kamuhelo's question. I think Usfiso needs to. Well, I will answer it. Kamuhelo is asking a question. How do you stay resilient in a space where your competition has an upper hand financially? That's a very good question. That is a very good question. I think it leads us to next week's workshop.
Really? How come?
Yes, because remember, next week's workshop is about the business model canvas. And one of the things that the business model canvas helps is in understanding your value proposition. What makes you different from the competition? So, thank you. You are going to find your answer next week, because for you to remain resilient, you must know what is your value proposition. What makes you different from your competitors? You must know that. And once you know that, stick to your story. Then you're more resilient.
You are onto something. And I love how your next week is in 2 weeks, by the way. But next week we are meeting for sure for the peer. And straight after that is the business model canvas. However, I love how we are. You see, when you're running so fast, you even forget to go, I need to crawl. But yes, it is. Next week is the forum, everyone. So we'll see you. And then straight after that is the business model canvas. So that is a question you're holding and you'll still be holding. And you might even have an answer by the time we discuss this question in 2 weeks' time. So thank you so much for your questions. Thank you for making it here. And unmute yourself. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. Take care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, because all of those things are needed for your business to be successful. And please unmute and say bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sissy.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.